Welcome back, Nine World Chronicles audience. Today we're taking a deeper look at Mesopotamian culture and what came out of that region in terms of mythology. And it's important as we look at ancient civilizations, we tend to stick to, obviously, civilizations that developed along the Nile Delta, which became the Kushite and Kemetic civilizations, but also those happening in the Indus Valley and along the Fertile Crescent. So we know that much of our civilizations is based off of what developed from those areas, particularly in Mesopotamia, because this is the area that generated the Semitic people. And of course, the Semitic people would found Judaism, and Judaism would branch off to form both Christianity and Islam, which dominate our culture and politics in modern times like no two other faiths have. So it's important to have a general overview of who these people were, and we spent some time talking about some of the particular gods. We're going to just take a little closer look at the civilizations to kind of establish a better footing about who these gods were. The ancient culture of Mesopotamia once thrived on the banks of the Euphrates and the Tigris in what is now modern Iraq, Syria, and Kuwait. Often called the Fertile Crescent, this region teemed with ancient civilizations that achieved mind-boggling levels of socio-economic and political organization and technological advancement. The cultures of Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians dominated the region and developed agrarian societies that gave rise to the first cities in the world. These ancient cultures established themselves around 4000 BCE with the rise of the Sumerian Empire. With the establishment of societies, a rich mythology formed around their pantheon of gods. Across the regions, their religions overlapped and developed over 1,000 different deities. The laws of the ancient Mesopotamian civilizations focused on the gods, their relationship to the people, and their interactions between themselves. The early civilizations created myths and stories to explain why and how things happened. It is fascinating to delve into the histories and see how they explain the universe. This area was populated by several societies that remained independent of each other, but their gods and religions tended to overlap. They never unified under a real central rule like other civilizations like the ancient Kemites, but trade existed among them, and inevitably war would break out from time to time. However, for the most part, they remained separate nations. These ancient peoples were extremely advanced for their times, and their belief systems were intricate and complex. Luckily, the Sumerians developed a written language to record their myths, language, and law. It started with a picture system very similar to hieroglyphics and evolved into a complex writing system called cuneiform writing. These writings were chiseled into clay tablets, and they preserved the stories of the Sumerians, although the tablets would suffer and kind of create a puzzle just to put together as they're trying to unwrap the mythology and stories of these incredible peoples. And this makes translations difficult. It's like assembling a giant jigsaw puzzle. There were a great number of powerful empires and warlords and kings that existed during ancient. For our conversations, we're going to focus on the four major kingdoms, being the Sumerians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, and the Akkadians. And I think it's important to say that when we look at this area, these people lived as contemporary to the empires that developed in the Nile River Valley, particularly talking about the Kushite and Kemetic civilization. There's always a rush to compare these civilizations as if the accomplishments of one civilization diminish that of another civilization. And I want to be clear that it shows that there was not only trade between these peoples, they probably traded ideologies and cultural normals as well. These early humans traveled north from sub-Saharan Africa. establishing civilizations along the Nile River Delta, moving forward into the Fertile Crescent, continuing on into the Indus Valley, and eventually establishing kingdoms along the Yellow River. This is the progress of mankind, and this is where our earliest civilizations are connected fundamentally in their people and to some degree. In understanding the people, we want to know who they were geographically, culturally, politically. In what era did they reign? Who were the influences that came before them, and what cultures did they in turn influence that would come after, either by being conquered or absorbed? In the case of these Western Semitic people, we know that their influence first went through the Greeks, and their Western Semitic beliefs heavily influenced the establishment of the Greek pantheon, which of course would go on to influence the Roman pantheon of belief systems as well. From the Romans, we obviously get the Roman Catholic Church, and that spread Roman beliefs throughout the world, establishing the largest religion on the planet. How much of the beliefs of those ancient Western Semitic people exist in today's modern Catholic or Arab beliefs? One thing we can say for sure is that there are some important links between these cultures, and we will uncover more of it as we start to look at the 4 major civilizations that come from this area we call Mesopotamia.